From downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
In a sweeping executive order, President Trump is taking a strong stand against high drug prices. His new plan promises to lower prescription drug costs for Americans by up to 50%.
Whatever the lowest price paid for a drug in other developed countries, that is the price that Americans will pay.
But here's the catch. Despite this order, it's still unclear when or even if Americans will actually see lower prices. And that's because the president tried something similar to this back in his first term. Trump wanted to establish the so-called most favored nation rule, which would have let the U.S. take advantage of discounts that other countries negotiated for drugs under Medicare.
But that move got blocked by federal courts. But this new plan goes even further than before. It's not just limited to Medicare or a specific number of drugs. Pamela Osborne spoke with a longtime pharmacist and professor at Wayne State University about all this. How is he responding to the news today?
Well, Ronnie Formia says that at the very least, this executive order is an opportunity for dialogue. That's how he sees this. No one knows for sure how all of this is going to turn out, but at least it's got the main playmakers talking.
Ronnie Formia has been a pharmacist in the state of Michigan since 1999. He's seen the impact the high price of prescription drugs has had on everyday Americans firsthand.
People are making that choice of possibly paying for their drugs or paying for necessities such as food. People shouldn't have to do that in this country.
It's a problem President Donald Trump is aiming to solve with a new executive order.
We're no longer paying 10 times more than another country.
He's pretty much telling big drug companies, well, either you reduce your prices to match what's happening in other countries, or he's going to take action.
Formia, who also serves as the state's vice chair of the Michigan Board of Pharmacy, shared his thoughts with us. They aren't those of the board, but they are informed by his decades of experience in the industry.
When you look at this, it sounds great, but it's not going to be easy.
He cites legal challenges and the cost these cost-cutting measures could have on your neighborhood pharmacy.
So many community pharmacies are struggling, creating something called pharmacy deserts, where people are not within the vicinity of a pharmacy because financially these pharmacies are having a hard time staying in business.
The president has asked big pharmaceutical companies to lower their prices voluntarily over the next 30 days or else. However it all plays out, Formia says there are things you can do right now to help manage your costs.
Just because a doctor prescribes a high-cost drug doesn't mean that there aren't alternatives that will work just as well that have generic equivalents.
He also recommends calling different pharmacies to see how much your prescription medication costs at each one, saying that you could be able to find additional savings there as well. Reporting live tonight, I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
Pamela, thank you.
Developing tonight out of Dundee Community Schools, the high school wrestling program is paused after allegations of hazing and physical assault involving members of the Dundee High School wrestling team came to light. In a letter to families, Superintendent Scott Leach said the district opened 9 investigations last month following an anonymous complaint. One parent, Neil Stevenson, said his son Connor participated in the wrestling program, and he calls his son's experience, quote unquote, toxic.
As more and more extreme things happen, that it was like a cult, like things just get normalized to you that you should never tolerate, never put up with, but it happens at just the right frequency for you to become used to it.
The Title IX investigation is being led by the Truin law firm. Local law enforcement is also conducting its own parallel investigation. Nearly 5 years after the Edenville Dam failed, releasing water that overwhelmed the Sanford Dam downriver and flooded Midland, a lawsuit seeking to hold the state liable can now move forward.
Judge James Redford ruled the state's attempt to dismiss the suit would be denied without prejudice. The suit claims that Eagle knew the dam was structurally unfit in 2018, 2 years before the breach, but still allowed water to flow into it. This suit is not connected with an earlier one filed by the state against the dam's owner, Lee Mueller. His company, Boyce Hydro, operated the dam at the time. After the judge denied the state's motion, attorney Kevin Carlson released a statement to Local 4. It reads in part, quote, "These plaintiffs have suffered unimaginable losses, and we are committed to holding the parties responsible, accountable for their actions," end quote. And stick with Local 4 as we continue to follow the aftermath of the Edenville Dam breach and the legal battles that follow.
City of Warren considering tonight whether or not to close a popular sports bar following reports of noisy after-hours parties. During a recent city council meeting, Council Secretary Mindy Moore said the police have been called to Motor City Sports Bar and Grill over 250 times. The parties are taking place outside the bar, and residents say they are fed up with the noise. The family that owns the bar says they weren't told their bar would be discussed during the meeting.
Felt attacked.
Why?
Our livelihood. It's how we feed ourselves, put food on the table.
City officials indicate if the bar's owner doesn't take steps to address the issues, the city may file a nuisance action in circuit court. The bar's owners say they've already installed additional signage and a live camera monitoring system to deter unwanted activity.
Lawmakers are proposing a new alert system to keep residents informed when raw sewage contaminates local waterways. State Representatives Alicia St. Germain and Ron Robinson introduced a bill to establish a brown alert system, like an Amber Alert. They want to make sure that county officials notify emergency managers within 12 hours if the water reaches dangerous contamination levels. Right now, the legislation will be debated by the Committee on Natural Resources and Tourism.
Well, what do Snoop Dogg, Garth Brooks, and Kid Rock have in common? Well, besides being musicians, police say scammers are using their names and faces to trick people. The Michigan Attorney General has warned scammers are now using AI to clone people's voices and faces. These scams can take many forms, but some common ones include scammers pretending to offer investment opportunities that they claim are endorsed by the celebrity. Sometimes even ask victims to buy custom or exclusive merchandise. So the best thing to remember is if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Today marks a big milestone in Henry Ford Health's Detroit hospital expansion. They installed the first of many steel beams this morning. In total, they're going to use about 22,000 beams for this over $2 billion project. This phase of construction is set to last until May of next year. When it's all finished, the emergency department will more than double in size and feature all private patient rooms. Plus, there will be 28 operating rooms ready to handle a wide range of complex surgeries, everything from transplants to brain surgery.
You may have noticed road rage is becoming a real problem in the United States. Data from the Gun Violence Archive shows that road rage incidents have spiked dramatically since the COVID-19 pandemic. An important caveat here, the Gun Violence Archive only tracks incidents involving guns. The Pew Research Center compiled the archive's data and found more than 115 people were killed in road rage incidents in 2024. That's a big jump from 2019 when less than 70 people lost their lives in similar incidents. The Pew Research Center also did a survey with nearly 5,500 U.S. adults in 2024, and when they asked how often people see other drivers displaying road rage, about a quarter say they see it very often. And where you live plays a big role here, too. Researchers found that a third of city dwellers reported seeing road rage often. One researcher at Ohio State has a theory.
Our own research has shown that if there's a gun in the vehicle, people drive more aggressively. Even the mere presence of a gun can make people more aggressive, and that's called the weapons effect.
So what should you do if you find yourself on the receiving end of road rage? Well, first of all, no matter what, don't respond with anger. The best approach is always to ignore the other driver. If that doesn't work, look for a public place to park. Stay in your vehicle and call 911.
All right, let's take a look at the forecast right now. We've got some showers moving through a few communities tonight, though I guess the ball game maybe got in. Ron Hilliard filling in for Ken Maddens tonight. Sounds like this is just the beginning of a trend that we'll be seeing over the next few days.
Kimberly, you are right. We have multiple rain chances over the next few days. Tonight, we made good with having our evening clear of the rain in most of southeast Michigan, but a couple of those rain showers are trying to make their way in right now. You'll see that we are seeing right now 60 still in southeast Michigan. And if you look at these icons, Adrian, Monroe, we are getting that rain. Now, we have not yet seen that push farther toward the north, but we will eventually in the next few hours. So a ZachTrack 4D radar showing that the rain showers are moving closer and closer to I-94, and then eventually it will move north of I-94. You'll see that popping up as you get into Oakland County, Livingston County, and Macomb County. But right now, it's mostly in Lenawee and Monroe counties. It's approaching now Washtenaw and Wayne counties as you get into places like Saline. So we are going to have those rain chances over the next few days. It is going to be unseasonably warm. And then there's even the chance of a couple of storms popping up with these rain chances as we go into Friday. That is all coming up in the next few minutes.